You are stronger than you've ever been, and you move worse than you did at 19. That sentence is going to make a lot of sense in the next 4 minutes. Here's what's happening right now in gyms across the world. Men are building the strongest, most muscular bodies of their lives and walking out of the weight room stiff, reactive, and completely unathletic. They're hitting PRs on the platform and getting beaten by 50-year-olds on the basketball court. Strong in a cage, useless in the wild. Here's the brutal truth nobody in the fitness space will say out loud. Heavy lifting alone builds a statue, not an athlete. And if you don't bridge this gap today, right now, you will keep getting bigger, keep getting tighter, and keep wondering why your strength doesn't feel like strength in the real world. Today, I'm giving you the 5 primal animal movements that fix this permanently. 5 movements, 1 systematic approach. And by the time I walk you through movement 3, you will understand why some of the world's most elite athletes have already abandoned their conventional warm-up routines and replaced them with exactly what I'm showing you. Stay in, because the most important piece of this comes in at the 30-minute mark, and most people never get there. Don't be most people. Before we go anywhere, I need to tell you what this channel is actually about. Because PrimalUnleash is not a fitness channel in the way you're used to seeing them. We are not here to give you a better 6-week program. We are not here to tell you which pre-workout to stack or what the optimal rep range is for lateral raises is. We are here because of a belief, a standard. Modern life is in the business of making you soft. Every single day, the desk, the car, the couch, the controlled, comfortable, sedentary rhythm of modern existence, it is systematically stripping you of something your body was designed to have, primal physical capability. The men and women who built this species didn't train. They moved, they climbed, they ran, they fought, they carried, they changed direction at full speed in unpredictable terrain, and their bodies reflected that demand. They were not just strong, they were whole. We call that standard the Silverback standard. Modern life makes us soft. Primal movement makes us unbreakable. We don't just lift weight, we reclaim our nature. That is what we're doing here every single week. And today's video is not just a workout breakdown, it's a reclamation. So lock in. Let's begin. I want you to think about the strongest animal on the planet, pound for pound. Not the elephant, not the grizzly bear, the chimpanzee. A chimpanzee weighing 130 pounds can generate roughly 4 times the muscular force of an elite human powerlifter. 4 times! That's not an exaggeration. That's a documented physiological reality. And I want you to sit with that for a second, because it tells you everything. Does the chimpanzee periodize his training into hypertrophy blocks? Does he track his progressive overload? Does he optimize his protein timing? No, he moves, he climbs, he bounds, he reacts. He loads his body through every conceivable plane of motion under dynamic, unpredictable conditions every single day. And the result is a nervous system so finely tuned that modern humans, with all of their optimized programming, cannot come close. This is the missing link that your training program is not telling you about. Here's the biomechanics, and this is the part most coaches will never share with you because most coaches don't actually understand it. The human body is designed for what's called multi-planar reactive movement. Your muscles, joints, connective tissue, and nervous system were all built to work together across 3 simultaneous planes of motion. The sagittal plane, forward and backward, the frontal plane, side to side, the transverse plane, rotational. The traditional barbell training, as essential as it is, operates almost exclusively in the sagittal plane. The squat goes up and down, the deadlift goes up and down, the bench press goes forward and backward. Necessary, powerful, but incomplete. The moment real life demands that you cut laterally at full speed, react to something unexpected, absorb an impact from a direction you didn't anticipate, your body doesn't know what to do, because you never trained it to. There's a term in sports science, neuromuscular efficiency. It's your nervous system's ability to recruit the right muscle fibers in the right sequence at the right speed in response to any movement demand. And the research is clear. Neuromuscular efficiency is not built by moving the same way under the same load in the same direction every session. It's built by complexity, by variety, by challenge. These 5 movements are your complexity, your variety, your challenge. They don't replace your barbell work, they complete it. And here's the thing I've watched happen with every athlete I've put through this system. And I've done this with fighters, rugby players, and professional athletes. Within 2 weeks, their heavy lifts feel better. Their body feels like one connected unit instead of a collection of separate parts. The barbell builds the engine. What I'm about to show you builds the steering, the suspension, and the brakes. Let me show you the first one. Movement number 1, the gorilla lateral bound. Picture a silverback in the wild, that lateral explosion, full body generating force sideways, absorbing the landing like a predator, immediately loading for the next bound. It looks wild. It is anything but unrandom. Here's what's happening under the surface. You start in a deep, wide athletic squat, hips below parallel, chest up, weight loaded across the full foot. That position alone is doing work most gym programs never access. From there, you drive explosively through their lateral hip, your glute medius, your TFL, your external hip rotators, and you bound sideways. Not shuffle, not step. Both feet leave the ground simultaneously. When you land, you absorb through the full kinetic chain, ankle, knee, hip, all decelerating that lateral force together. That deceleration moment is where the magic happens. That's eccentric loading through your reactive tendons and ligaments, the structures that protect your knees and hips in every sport, every physical activity you'll ever pursue. Most lifters have almost zero lateral power, not because they're weak, because they can squat 300 pounds, but because they've never once trained the muscles responsible for producing force sideways. I had a 250-pound strongman competitor I worked with who could deadlift 600 pounds and couldn't bound 2 yards laterally without stumbling. Within 3 weeks of this protocol, he told me his hip stability in the deadlift had improved more than the previous year of training. The lateral chain was that underdeveloped. Programming. 3 sets, 5 bounds each direction before your lower body work. Your nervous system needs to be fresh. This is not a finisher. This is a primer. The cue is land like a predator, not a passenger. Don't fall into the ground. Pull yourself down. Own that position. That ownership is where strength is born. One movement down, and here's what I want you to hold on to. The next movement is going to address something that years of sitting and barbell work have been quietly destroying in your spine. And the research behind it is going to change the way you think about lower back health permanently. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time your spine moved in rotation? Real rotation, not turning your head in the mirror, not looking over your shoulder, backing out of the driveway. Actual rotational movement under load through the full available range of your thoracic spine. For most lifters, the honest answer is almost never. And for some of you, never. Years, possibly decades. Here's what that means for your body. Your thoracic spine has 12 vertebral segments. All of them are structurally designed for rotation. That capacity is built in. But when you spend years at a desk and years doing nothing but sagittal plane lifting, those segments stiffen. The facet capsules tighten. The paraspinal muscles enter a permanent low-grade bracing state. And over time, your lumbar spine, which is not designed for rotation, starts compensating. It rotates to pick up the slack from your frozen thoracic segments. That is where lower back problems begin. Not from lifting too heavy, from moving too one-dimensionally. I have clients who came to me with chronic lower back tightness that 3 different sports medicine doctors couldn't fully resolve. Within 30 days of adding the scorpion reach to their morning practice, the tightness dropped by more than half. Not because I'm a miracle worker, because we gave the thoracic spine back what it was asking for. Here's the movement. Face down on the ground, arms extended to your sides. Lift one leg, cross it over your body, reach the foot toward the opposite hand, creating this long, arching scorpion tail shape. Hold the reach, breathe into it, let the rotation express itself fully. When you add intent, when you actively reach and use your core to control the range, this stops being a stretch and becomes a strength exercise. You're training your body to produce and control movement through planes your heavy lifting ignores. Fascially, this is extraordinary. Your fascia responds to multi-directional movement by hydrating and lengthening. The result is less stiffness, faster recovery, and this genuinely surprised me the first time I pulled the data, measurably improved force transfer during compound lifts. Program it. 5 reps each side. Slow, deliberate, morning practice or pre-workout. Make it a ritual. 2 weeks, then tell me what you notice in your deadlift setup. Save this video right now. Seriously, do it before we continue. What I'm building toward from movement 3 onward is going to become your most referenced training framework of the year. 3 movements remaining, and the next 2 together are the most direct path to the athletic ceiling you didn't know you had. Movements 3 and 4. I'm coupling them because they attack the same fundamental system, and together they are the most direct shortcut to awakening what your barbell training has been slowly putting to sleep since the day you started. The frog leap and the chimpanzee walk. But before I give you the how, I need to give you the why, because this is the piece most coaches skip, and it's the reason their clients plateau while my clients keep climbing.
Fast twitch reality check. Your body has two primary muscle fiber types. Type 1, slow twitch, for endurance, sustained effort, the long game. Type 2, fast twitch, for power, speed, explosive output, everything violent and sudden, everything that makes a human physically dangerous. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most strength training programs, even well-designed ones, underdevelop the pure neural recruitment speed of type 2 fibers. The rep ranges, the tempos, the rest periods, they build muscle mass in both fiber types, but they don't force the nervous system to fire fast twitch fibers instantly. So your fast twitch muscle exists, it might even be large, but it's slow to respond. It doesn't cascade into that explosive burst the way elite athletes does. The frog leap fixes this directly. Start in the deepest squat you can, heels down, chest tall, what I call the primal squat, the position your body was designed to rest in before chairs existed. From there, you explode. Maximum effort, triple extension, hips, knees, ankles, all firing simultaneously. You were going for height and distance. Land softly, reload, go again. What this does neurologically is train your rate of force development, the speed at which your nervous system ramps from 0 to maximum output. That's the gap between moving fast and moving explosively. And no amount of barbell training directly targets that. This does. 3 sets, 5 reps. Before your lower body session, maximum intent on every single rep. Treat each rep like a personal best. Now, the chimpanzee walk, and I want to warn you, this one is humbling. That's exactly why it works. You're on all fours, hands and feet, hips high, knees bent, moving forward, backward, laterally. You try to keep your hips level and your spine neutral, and you will discover very quickly that your shoulder stability, your hip mobility, and your spinal coordination have never had a conversation with each other. They don't even know each other's names. What the chimpanzee walk rebuilds is cross-body coordination. Your right shoulder and left hip working as a unit. Your left shoulder and right hip working as a unit. This contralateral chain is fundamental to every athletic movement that exists. The rotational power to punch, a sprint, a throw, it all runs through this chain. Barbell training almost never challenges it. Chimpanzee walk hits nothing but that. 10 yards forward and backward, 90 seconds. It will rewire movement coordination that most adult athletes have completely lost. 4 primal weapons are now in your hands. Movement 5, I've saved the one that ties the entire system together, the one my athletes universally call the game changer. Movement 5, and I want you to understand something about why I built these videos the way I did. I could have opened with movement 5. I could have put it first, called it the hero exercise, and got through this video in 10 minutes. I didn't do that for a reason, because this movement, the scorpion crawl flow, doesn't make sense unless you understand everything that came before it. The lateral chain from the gorilla bound, the thoracic freedom from the scorpion reach, the fast twitch ignition from the frog leap, the contralateral coordination from the chimpanzee walk. Without those foundations, this movement is just a cool-looking floor exercise. With those foundations, it is a complete athletic system expressed in a single flowing pattern. Here's the movement. You're in a low crawl position, hands and feet, hips low, moving forward. Every third or fourth step, you drop one shoulder toward the ground, thread your opposite arm underneath your body in a full rotational reach, and spiral through your thoracic spine. Then you return to the crawl and continue.
What this creates is something sports scientists call intersegmental coordination. The ability of every segment of your kinetic chain to communicate, load, transfer force, and decelerate in real time in response to positional demands you can't predict. This is exactly what separates elite athletes from just strong people. Elite athletes aren't stronger than everyone else. They're connected. When a linebacker hits a ball carrier at full speed, it's not just his legs driving or his arms wrapping. It's a wave of force that starts at the ground, travels through every single segment of his kinetic chain, and releases at the point of contact in perfect sequence. That's intersegmental coordination, and it cannot be built with straight-line barbell work alone. I've put this movement in front of competitive fighters, rugby players, and professional track athletes. The feedback is always the same. 2 weeks in, their heavy lifts feel cleaner. Their explosiveness feels effortless instead of forced. Their body feels like one thing instead of a collection of parts. That feeling is what we're after. That is the Silverback standard in motion. Program it. End of workout or active recovery days. 3 to 5 minutes, continuous. Move with intention. Breathe through it. Let it become meditative. This is where your nervous system consolidates everything it built in the session. I want to take a moment here and go deeper on the mechanism, because understanding why this works is what converts a workout into a system you'll actually maintain for years. 3 layers. Stay with me. Layer 1, fascial integrity. Most people think about muscle when they think about strength, but muscle only operates within a fascial matrix, a web of connective tissue that runs through and connects every muscle, joint, and organ in your body. And fascia responds to one thing above all: movement complexity. When you move in multiple planes under varied loads, you stimulate fibroblast activity, the cells responsible for maintaining connective tissue. The result is fascia that's hydrated, pliable, and strong. When you repeat the same movements in the same planes under the same loads year after year, the fascia in the affected areas tightens, dehydrates, and restricts your available range. This is why heavy lifters often feel chronically tight in the hips, chest, and shoulders, despite being extraordinarily strong. They're strong within a restricted range. These 5 movements systematically restore what heavy training compresses. Layer 2, neuroathleticism. Every complex movement pattern you learn rewires your motor cortex. New neural connections form, existing ones reinforce. The more varied and complex your motor vocabulary, the more options your nervous system has access to when it needs to respond to an unexpected physical demand. Simple movements build simple nervous systems. Complex movements build adaptable nervous systems. And adaptable nervous systems are the difference between an athlete and a specimen. Layer 3, metabolic efficiency. High-intensity primal flows, sequenced back-to-back with minimal rest, generate a prolonged, elevated metabolic state for hours after the session ends. This environment preserves lean muscle tissue while burning fat, because you are simultaneously doing strength work and metabolic work. The primal movement approach, barbell foundation plus animal flow, is metabolically superior to either one alone. You are building muscle, building your nervous system, and burning fat in a single integrated practice. That is the system. All 5 movements, 3 scientific layers, 1 complete picture. Now, let me give you exactly how to use it. If you've made it here, and if you have, I want you to know you're in the small percentage of people who actually complete what they start. Here is your complete 30-day roadmap. 3 phases. Each one builds directly on the last. Weeks 1 and 2, the primer phase. During this phase, every single training session begins with this sequence before any barbell work. Gorilla lateral bound, 3 sets, 5 bounds each direction, 60-second rest between sets. Frog leap, 3 sets, 5 reps, maximum intent every rep. Chimpanzee walk, 1 10-yard pass forward and backward. Scorpion reach, 5 reps each side. Scorpion crawl flow, 2 minutes continuous. Total time, 12 to 15 minutes. That is your new standard warm-up. The objective here is neural patterning, not intensity. You are writing new movement programs into your nervous system. Rushed, sloppy reps write bad code. Perfect, deliberate reps write the code that lasts. Week 3, contrast loading. Now you pair the primal movements directly with your heavy compound lifts. The protocol: complete your heaviest set, squat, deadlift, press, then immediately perform the corresponding primal movement with no rest between them. Heavy squat set, then 5 frog leaps directly after. Heavy deadlift, then 5 gorilla lateral bounds. Heavy press, then scorpion crawl flow. This contrast protocol uses post-activation potentization, the heightened neural excitability that follows a maximal strength effort, and then the fluidity of that movement feeds directly back into the next heavy set, smoother, more coordinated, more powerful. This is where every client I've run through the system reports a significant performance jump, not a subtle one, a noticeable one. Week 4, full integration, the independent primal session. By week 4, you have the vocabulary, you have the neural patterning. Now you run a dedicated primal movement session once a week, completely separate from your barbell training. 30 to 40 minutes, 3 full rounds through all 5 movements, progressively increasing intensity across rounds, finishing with a 5-minute scorpion crawl flow. This is your athletic identity session. This is the session where you stop being just a lifter and become a versatile, connected athlete. 3 mistakes that will kill your results. First, chasing intensity before earning quality. These movements at 50% quality done fast give you 0. At full quality done with deliberate control, they rebuild everything. Second, skipping the groundwork. The scorpion reach and scorpion crawl flow feels slow and unsexy. Do them anyway. The benefits happen below the threshold of what you feel in the moment. Trust the science. Third, abandoning your barbell. I want to be explicitly clear. These movements complete your training. They do not replace your foundation. Keep squatting heavy, keep pulling heavy. Add this system on top of it. If you want to share this roadmap with someone who needs it, a training partner, a friend who's been wondering why their strength isn't translating, send them this video right now. The person who watches this with you is the person who will hold you accountable to actually running the 30 days. I want to close with something that goes beyond the 5 movements we covered today, because what we're really talking about, what Primal Unleash is truly about, is not exercise. It's not programming. It's not even athletic performance. It's the refusal to become something less than what your body was built to be.
Modern life is extraordinarily good at producing one specific kind of human: sedentary, tight, and domesticated. It gives you a desk, a car, a chair, a screen, and a comfortable life of controlled, repetitive movements in 2 planes of motion. And over time, without active resistance, that's what you become. The body adapts to the demands you give it, and modern life gives it almost none. We resist that here. Every session, every movement pattern, every deliberate choice to demand more of your physical self than comfort requires. The Silverback doesn't train. He moves. He lives fully expressed in his biology. He doesn't negotiate with his nature. He doesn't trade his capability for convenience. Neither do you. You came to this video today because something in you already knew that there was more capability available than you were accessing, more power, more fluidity, more athletic expression than your current training was delivering. You were right. And now you have the exact tools to reach it. The question, the only question that matters, is whether you're willing to do the uncomfortable work of actually reclaiming it. I believe you are, because the people who are still here at this point are the ones who act. They always have been. Modern life makes us soft. Primal movement makes us unbreakable. We don't just lift weight, we reclaim our nature. If this breakdown shifted how you think about your training, and I believe it did, here is exactly what I want you to do in the next 30 seconds. Drop a comment below right now. Tell me which of the 5 movements you are starting with at your next session. Gorilla bound, frog leap, scorpion crawl flow? Tell me. I read and respond to every comment on this channel. If you want the full written 30-day programming guide with sets, reps, weekly progression benchmarks, and movement cue videos for all 5 drills, it's in the description. That's inside the inner circle. If you are serious about this system, that is where you need to be. Hit subscribe if you aren't already. We drop cutting-edge movement science and primal strength programming every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming. The next video in this series is going to expose something that almost no coach in the strength world is talking about: why your central nervous system has a hard recovery ceiling, and the precise protocol to raise it without sacrificing any of your strength gains. That video drops next week. I want you there for it. Until then, move with intention, train with purpose. I'm Dr. R.S. Thorne. This is Primal Unleashed. I'll see you in the next one.